Here's a quick tutorial of how I set up a spreadsheet for today's predicting the landing spot calculations. So the first thing I did was I made a column with the ramps. So I had ramp AB, ramp CD, and ramp EF. In column B, I placed a column to hold the horizontal velocities. These horizontal velocities are what you're going to be given in class today. The numbers that I have represented here, I just made up. All right. Column C is where I'm going to house my vertical heights. This is given information that you'll receive from me also during your 5-minute launch period. Column D, I put the acceleration due to gravity because I knew that it needed to be part of my calculations. I wrote or typed in 9.81 into this first cell, and then I used the square button and I pulled it down so that it repeated itself in the next three, so that it applied to all three of those cell values. The next thing I did in column E was I made a column for the calculation for time of flight. And what I did here was I selected this first cell. So this is where I have selected now, 0.55. It wasn't calculated yet. And I put the calculation in. And so in order to calculate the time of flight, I know from the homework that I did in class, or that you did in class, that the formula that I needed to calculate time of flight was the square root of the vertical height divided by 1/2 the acceleration due to gravity. And so I inputted those values in here, selecting each of the cells where that data was held. I hit enter, and I got the value of 0.553001266. I then grabbed this little corner here, and I pulled it down so that that calculation now belonged to all three of these cells. So that as I change these, so if I come over here and I change the vertical velocity to something else, you can see that it changes all of the calculations. All right, so we'll just put in whatever made up information I might have put in there at any given time. All right, so then the next piece that I needed to know was the landing spot. I needed to find time of flight first before I could find landing spot. So this is the horizontal displacement. So in this cell, I clicked on it. I then entered my formula, B2 times E2, because to find horizontal displacement, I have to have my horizontal velocity times my time of flight, because that also belongs to the horizontal components, and hit equals, and it did the calculation for me. I then took the little square here, and it pulled it down, and it did all of the calculations for the other horizontal velocities and vertical heights that I had inputted. So I've connected all of those cells together. So now if I come in today and my teacher tells me that my vertical velocity is 3.9, and I hit enter, watch what happens to the landing spot. It changes. If I change that height, if it's higher, let's say we moved it up to 4.0 meters, notice that changes my time of flight and also changes my landing spot. So now I can alter these to whatever value my teacher gives me in class, and I will get accurate reading of where I should predict the landing spot to be. Hope this helped.